Good morning. I am Jo Burns. I'm an associate professor of dance and the chair of the Fine Arts Division here at Cottey. 57 members of the Cottey community are about to perform Ode to Joy for you to kick off this celebration of the accomplishment of the Judy and Glenn Rogers Fine Arts Building. Dr. Amanda Cook of our music faculty provided me a little historic information about Ode to Joy for this introduction. When Beethoven composed Ode to Joy, he was completely deaf and no longer conducting. His pieces of the time reflected his struggle with deafness. The symphony starts out in a minor key and only reaches the joyful mood at the ending. Dr. Cook's impression of why this piece is played at historic moments in the present day is its honest acknowledgement of struggle and its expression of pure joy of working together to accomplish our goals. Countless P.E.Os, Cottey students and alumni, faculty, staff, and friends of the college have struggled to make this building a reality, just as Beethoven struggled to create the Ninth Symphony and Ode to Joy. As Dr. Cook told me, there are a lot of musical pieces that are triumphant, but the journey before this theme goes a lot deeper. Beethoven was on stage for the premiere of Ode to Joy, giving tempos to the conductor. Someone had to turn him around to see the audience cheering. I hope you, my dear audience, will cheer just as loudly for this great accomplishment. Enjoy.
Good morning and welcome to Cottey College. I am Jan Weitzel, the 12th president of Cottey. Please join me once again in thanking the students, the faculty, the staff, and the emeritus faculty for that amazing performance. I would now like to introduce our speakers for today's events, and I would ask you to please hold your applause until everyone has been introduced. First, our guests of honor, Dr. Judy Rogers, immediate past president of Cottey College, and Dr. Glenn Rogers. Peggy Bodorf, chair of the Cottey College Board of Trustees. Maria Basaggio, president of International Chapter of the P.E.O. Sisterhood. Sally Holland, alumna, class of '85, and president of the Cottey College Alumni Association. Barbara Andes, chairperson of the Defining Moments campaign. Mary Hagens, project manager for the Judy and Glenn Rogers Fine Arts Building. Theresa Spencer, professor of music, and Tysember Jones, Student Government Association president. I would also like to introduce Nevada's mayor, Mr. Brian Leonard, and representative from the Chamber of Commerce, Frank Arnold, both of whom will be joining us in the ribbon cutting. Please now join me in welcoming our speakers. And welcome to you. Today is an amazing day of celebration at Cottey College as we open and celebrate the dedication of the Judy and Glenn Rogers Fine Art Building. This building represents the culmination of years of hard work and diligent planning by so many groups and individuals, including but certainly not limited to the thousands of members of the P.E.O. Sisterhood, our loyal alumni, the administration, the faculty, and the staff of Cottey College, the many supporters and friends of the college, the city of Nevada, the architects, the craftsmen, everyone and anyone who had any role in the raising of the funds, those involved with the planning, the designing, and building, and particularly those with a vision of our arts programs joined as one. Now, in a few moments when you view this amazing structure, please know that it will serve as a classroom and collaborative space for the entire campus. Now, while the building has all of the facilities needed for students of the arts, the building is available for classes of any major, and time for students and places for students to gather and socialize, both inside and outside of the building. And we will encourage students of all majors to enroll in the visual arts, in dance, and in music as ways to further their own liberal arts education. Specifically, though, this new building makes possible a clustering of the arts into one setting rather than being spread across the campus. The building serves as a classroom space, as a practice and a studio space, and a group meeting space. Additionally, the building will offer areas for relaxation, study, social time with friends, and advising with professors. Thus, at long last, the visual arts, music, and dance, students and faculty will be together, allowing them to work together and across the arts. Students in the visual arts will simply need to climb a few stairs to be able to partner with students in music. and then walk across the atrium to Neal Hall to collaborate with students in dance. They then can walk a few yards down Austin to the Haiti and Allen Wild Center for the Arts to collaborate with the students in theater. Thus, this building will represent an alliance of the arts, a combination of all of the elements. Students will have experiences collaborating with students with other talents, thereby strengthening their own talents, building their resumes, and preparing for the job market. So students who study in the new Judy and Glenn Rogers Fine Arts Building will be prepared for the next step in their lives. Further, though, this building is going to serve as a showpiece for all of the students and our visitors and the families when they come to Cottey on recruiting trips. It demonstrates Cottey's belief in offering to the students state-of-the-art technology and the very best in facilities. Students and their families will see as they visit this building, as well as the other buildings on campus, that by gosh, the arts and the sciences are alive at Cottey College. This indeed is such an exciting day at Cottey. I'm going to ask the guest speakers to come forward, starting with Peggy Bodorf, Chair of the Board of Trustees.
Thank you, Jan. Good morning. Today we celebrate the completion and culmination of more than a decade of imagination, dedication, and creative hard work by a host of supporters. For generations to come, Cottey students will attend classes, consult with mentors, learn and create memories in the Judy and Glenn Rogers Fine Arts Building. I suspect nearly every person here today has been a supporter in one capacity or another to the construction of this building. Among the long list of contributors to this effort are the members of the Board of Trustees. I'd like to take 1 minute to introduce the currently serving board members. Will you stand as I call your name? And I would ask that you hold your applause until all have been introduced. Matilda Hatfield, Vice President of the Board of Trustees from Conway, Arkansas. Kathy Leffler, Secretary of the Board from Phoenix, Arizona. Greg Hoffman from Nevada, Missouri. Janet Hansen from River Falls, Wisconsin. Dr. Gary Cox from Lawrenceburg, Kentucky. Dr. Sandra Laney from Seattle, Washington. Christine Schuneman, Corona Del Mar, California. Dr. Grace Chalker from West Lakes, Ohio. Diane McChesney from Ridgefield, Connecticut. And Dr. Jackie McMorris from Canton, Georgia. And our ex officio members are Maria Basagio, President, International Chapter P.E.O., and Beth Ledbetter, First Vice President, International Chapter P.E.O. Thank you, and a warm welcome goes to those individuals who have previously served on this board and are here today to recognize the completion and dedication of this wonderful facility. On behalf of the Board of Trustees, I would like to especially thank an individual who's been vitally important at every stage, bringing us to this celebration today. As Vice President of Administration and Finance for Cottey, Mary Hagens was instrumental in the earliest concepts of this expansion to our campus. Her visions were inspired in part by her own experience as a student and a graduate of Cottey. And although she formally retired in 2013, she agreed to serve as Cottey's project manager for the construction of the building. I won't steal any of her thunder except to say, today we're on schedule and on budget. Mary, we thank you for your wonderful leadership. We meet today to dedicate this building to fulfilling its purpose. It has been carefully designed to ensure success. The shape, size, placement, and surface of every component have been deliberately selected to ensure it will enhance the learning opportunity of each student who enjoys its use. The journey to this point has been filled with countless leaders, those who led the strategic visioning that included a focus on the fine arts, those who led the campaign to fund the construction, those who enabled the architects and builders to accomplish their work, and the countless Cottey supporters who encouraged this step into the future. It is my hope that these individuals will be just the beginning of a legacy of leadership that this building will represent. I look forward to our future when we will recall the remarkable Cottey graduates whose success will be attributed to the opportunities they experienced at Cottey in the Judy and Glenn Rogers Fine Arts Building. Thank you.
Good morning. I'm Maria Basagio, President of International Chapter, and it's a pleasure to be here this morning. It was approximately 17 months ago when we were all here to celebrate the groundbreaking of the Fine Arts Building. And at that time, we were trying to envision how the building would come to life and how it would support the needs of our students in the Fine Arts program and those in our interdisciplinary programs. The efforts to bring this building to life remind me of our founder of this college. Virginia Alice Cottey Stockard, better known as Alice, was ever committed to finding ways to address the ever-changing needs of women's education. Her passion for women's education matched that of the passion for women's education shown by P.E.O. members from the early 1900s through to today. And maybe that was even part of the influence that made her decide to become a P.E.O. in Chapter DW right here in Nevada, Missouri. As Alice learned more about P.E.O., she realized that our commitment, P.E.O.'s commitment, could benefit the college. And it was nearly 90 years ago when Alice gifted Cottey College to the P.E.O. Sisterhood. And P.E.O.s remain passionate and loyal supporters of our college today. And just as P.E.O.s don't accept the status quo, neither did Alice. She was always trying to find ways to address the needs of her students, and she did so by providing new programs, as well as at times constructing new buildings, just as we have done recently. And that commitment was also exemplified by another P.E.O. that is very dear to many of us, to all of us in the audience today. President Emeritus Dr. Judy Rogers, with the support of her husband, Glenn, exemplified that commitment and delivered upon that commitment to no disregard. They did an exemplary job. So we are here today to celebrate their commitment and also the success of our Defining Moment campaign that not only brought to reality the Judy and Glenn Fine Arts Building, it also is providing additional scholarships for our students, enhancements to our library, increased faculty chairs, and we also have additional funds that can be allocated to currently undesignated needs. So I am so pleased today that there are many members of the executive board, both past and present, that are with us, and I would like to introduce those individuals to you because they have all provided strong support for our college. Starting with Beth Ledbetter, First Vice President, Sue Baker, Second Vice President, Brenda Atchison, Organizer, Patty Brolin-Ribby, Recording Secretary. And we are also fortunate to have some of our past presidents of International Chapter present with us. Barbara Andes presided as president of International Chapter 2007 to 2009, and she immediately stepped up to become the chairman of the very successful Defining Moments campaign for 5 more years. Thank you so much, Barbara. And also, Susan Sellers presided as International Chapter president 2011 to 2013, and throughout many years, the 5 years of her service on the executive board, she also served on the cabinet for the successful Defining Moment campaign. So thank you, Susan, as well. And as another example of how important Cottey is to P.E.O., our executive director traveled from Des Moines to be with us today. So I'd like to introduce her, Jackie Mott, executive director of our executive office in Des Moines. So on behalf of the Executive Board and the past presidents of International Chapter, as well as on behalf of the nearly 235,000 P.E.O. members throughout the United States and Canada, I just want to express our heartfelt appreciation and our deepest gratitude to each and every one of you for your generous contributions to our college. It is because of your generosity that Cottey continues to provide a stellar education to women who want to become strong learners, leaders, and citizens in today's society. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Sally Holland, and I'm president of the Cottey College Alumni Association. During a Defining Moment campaign for Cottey, a challenge went out to all the alumni, and they said, if you can raise $2 million towards the building of this building, we will give you the opportunity to rename the portion of Neal Hall that will become part of the Fine Arts Instructional Building. But Neal Hall has had many lives, and so this was just another phase for it. Neal Hall began its life as a physical education building, but as Cottey's needs grew and changed, it changed into a dining space, offices, science labs, and most recently, the art studios. The alumni did accept that challenge and raised nearly $2 million for the Judy and Glenn Rogers Fine Arts Building. And as alumni, were surveyed to determine what we should rename that portion of the Fine Arts Building, it quickly became clear that the name should remain Neal Hall. As president of the Cottey College Alumni Association, I know the name Neal Hall means so much and yet so many different things to Cottey alumni. We are excited that this Cottey gem will now continue its dedication to the hard work and creativity of Cottey's students. The name Neal Hall is part of Cottey's history, and now it will continue into Cottey's future, touching the lives of all those who enter this fabulous new space. We're very excited to have this addition to the Cottey campus. Thank you.
I'm Barbara Andes, and it is a pleasure for me to be here today at this dedication of the building as chairman of the Campaign for Cottey College. I represent more than 5,800 volunteers all across North America who worked with dedication and passion to see the $35 million campaign succeed. A special group of 16 women, of whom many are here today, formed the campaign cabinet. Their unique task as volunteers was to create ideas for raising funds, chair committees, and recruit volunteers. They guided and supported the campaign for 5 years with great enthusiasm. We thank them for their service. Will the campaign cabinet please rise? Thank you. This campaign was the first ever comprehensive campaign for Cottey College, covering 5 priorities, one of which was to build a new fine arts building. This was the largest campaign in scope and magnitude for both Cottey College and the P.E.O. Sisterhood. Never before had we been given such a challenge, nor had all of P.E.O. been involved in such an effort. And we knew that the money had to be raised for the building before construction could begin, because P.E.O. and Cottey College do not assume debt. About midpoint in the campaign, the cabinet was invited to campus to strategize on how we could increase interest in giving to support a new fine arts building and to renovate Neal Hall. Visits were arranged with faculty, We saw classes at work and students demonstrating their talent and their interest in various places all over campus. We toured those places, Neal Hall, upstairs and down. We visited Main Hall, the Wild Center, and Hink House Gym. We discovered for ourselves that the locations where the fine art disciplines met were totally disconnected from one another. We were surprised when we learned that Neal Hall, the former swimming pool gym area, which was supposed to be a temporary for the arts some 50 years ago, still was functioning as an art center. It became very clear all of the fine arts needed to be under one roof. When our tour ended, we had an al fresco lunch in the proposed building, actually in the very spot of the future atrium. The men from the maintenance department had staked out the corners of the building and strung yellow tape around the perimeter. We had an outline of the building. We saw the footprint. We were excited to know what was to come. We talked about the specialized spaces for students to follow their creative pursuits. We talked about the synergy of all the arts under one roof, and we talked about a place of collaboration where faculty could come together to strengthen the interconnectedness of the arts. We dreamed, and then we focused our efforts. When the weekend ended, the cabinet had a plan. We would use every means available to us to spread the word to every P.E.O. chapter, alumni, and friend of the college that Cottey College needed a new building. And that is exactly what the cabinet did. We gave information. We used social media, email blasts, brochures, videos, personal visits, and we talked to hundreds and hundreds of people. We asked for support and help from everyone connected to the college, and through the generosity of more than 20,000 donors all across North America with gifts large and small, the campaign goal was not only met, but exceeded with a total of $40.4 million. And today, gone are the stakes. Gone is the yellow tape. And in its place stands the splendid new Judy and Glenn Rogers Fine Arts Building, a lasting tribute to these outstanding, exceptional, and visionary leaders. Our hope is that this building will prove to be an inspiration to all who pass through her doors and will stand as a symbol for generations to come of the enduring support of those who believe in Cottey College and in her students. Thank you.
Good morning. I'm Mary Hagens, project manager for the Judy and Glenn Rogers Fine Arts Building. It's hard for me to think that we just started construction a year ago, and here we are today. I don't know that this could have happened if it weren't for the team that was put together to build this building. So I congratulate the Board of Trustees on their selection of an outstanding team to make their dream come true in this short period of time. A very integral part of this team was our architect, Gastinger Walker of Kansas City. We first hired them in October of 2009. As you know, as you develop a major campaign like the Defining Moment, if there's a building structure, you need to have some concept to show people. We, through a process of interviewing with the board, we selected Gastinger Walker. They're good listeners, they're creative, and they're fun to work with. So I want to say those people that we've had the opportunity to get to know through their firm: Kurt Gastinger is a partner, Amy Eckhoff, partner, Keisha Rios, architect, and Melissa Brown, architect. I might also note that Amy Eckhoff is a graduate of Cottey College. And what a remarkable young woman to have represent this college. So just an added little note. Another key consultant for us was WLL Castle. They were our mechanical engineers. This building is pretty complex because you have different activities in it. So you're trying to maintain noise levels, create right noise levels for the music program, contain those art smells that happen because you're cooking clay and different things. So they had been a real key player, and that was David Dawson, principal, Linda Dawson, engineer, and Eric Haber, engineer. And we've been with Castle. We've worked with them for years, and they are two great folks to work with. And then finally, we've been designing and talking about this building. We had to get somebody to help us put it up. In February 2014, we hired J.E. Dunn from Kansas City. What an outstanding group. They have a great reputation, and they delivered. And I would like to recognize Dirk Schaefer, the Midwest Regional President, Lynn Newark, Senior Vice President, Ben Vanderoo, Senior Project Manager, Candace Kacharzak, Project Manager, and Charlie Anderson, Senior Superintendent. In particular, Candace and Charlie were our day in, day out go-tos. And I really want to thank them for their hard work, their pleasant attitude, and their professionalism as we went through this project. And then, of course, the Cottey part of the team. And we had a lot of folks as part of the Cottey team. First, I want to thank the fine arts faculty. What a great group of faculty to work with. I've always thought that space is only as good as the efforts you put in designing it. And these folks knew what they wanted and helped communicate that to us. So it is their building as well as all faculty on campus, but particularly the special spaces. I would like to thank Carla Farmer and Carol Erner. As you will see when you get over there, this building has a lot of donor recognition. We've had a lot of great donors for it. And they worked hard to make sure we took and translated the donors' needs to this building. So thank you, Carla. One person that's not here today that I really, truly want to thank, and that's Neil Swarns. Neil is our Director of Physical Plant. Neil and I have worked together for 33 years. He's a joy and a great man to have around. His knowledge is just, his knowledge of Cottey and his knowledge of current trends is just wonderful. And anytime you want to talk about the sustainability or mechanical rooms, look Neil up. He's had a lot to do with those on this campus, and this building's no different. You will notice as you go through the building there are several items that remain to be completed or replaced, which include some donor signage. Our goal was to meet the September 25th, 2015 date for the dedication. This team has done it. Thanks again for everyone's contribution.
Good morning. I am Theresa Spencer, Professor of Vocal Music here at Cottey. It is my honor and privilege to offer expressions of gratitude on behalf of the dance, art, and music faculty to all the alumni, P.E.Os, faculty and staff, and friends of the college for your donations which have made the new Fine Arts Building a reality. The arts have been a vital component of the college since the beginning. Virginia Alice Cottey Stockard, our beloved founder, fervently believed in the importance of arts in education. Every room in this beautifully and thoughtfully designed building is an expression of commitment to the importance of art in our lives and in the education of our students. From the special Harlequin dance floors designed by the industry leader, to the spacious and well-designed acoustics in the music rehearsal and instruction rooms, to the light-filled spaces for painting, drawing, and ceramics, this building reflects the creative potential that an exemplary education instills in us. As we celebrate the future that will unfold within the new walls, we recognize our connection to all that Cottey is and has been. The new building stands on the original site of Rosemary Hall, built in 1903, which served as the music department for approximately 23 years before we moved to Main Hall in 1981. The heavenly skywalk to Main Hall will always reflect our connection to our most recent home and to the Administrative Heart Center of campus. Dance professor and Fine Arts Division Chair Joe Burns appreciates that Neal Hall has been renovated and incorporated into the new building's footprint. Neal Hall served as the gymnasium for many years and likely saw the first dance classes held on its floors. Joe said it feels like dance is coming home and is excited that dance will also be physically connected to the other fine arts. Professor Brianne Fulton, our colleague from the art department, not only appreciates the care and attention to the most practical things like storage and safety, but also spoke of more philosophical things, like the ability to generate creative energy throughout the entire facility. Mostly, she is thankful that the donors and those that planned the campaign realized the need for a comprehensive arts facility that is built specifically for the arts, a sentiment that all of us fine arts faculty who get to move in agree with wholeheartedly. It is my hope that as we imagine all that we see, all that we will see, hear, and feel in the new spaces, that our new home will reflect and inspire the continued growth, vision, and vitality of the Cottey community. To all our alums, P.E.Os, faculty and staff, and friends of the college who donated to this vision, please know that with every song, every etude, every leap, and every brushstroke, our artists now and in the future, thank you.
Well, good morning, everyone. I am Tysember Jones, president of the Cottey College Student Government Association, and it is with absolute pleasure that I welcome you all to the dedication of the Judy and Glenn Rogers Fine Arts Building. I speak for all present and future Cottey students when I say how much we appreciate this beautiful new facility. We are so anxious to be the first students to utilize the amazing structure and begin making so many remarkable memories. I would like to thank the P.E.O. Sisterhood, the alumni, the faculty and the staff, and the friends of the college who made this beautiful dream come true. I myself am extremely excited to see this amazing structure that students and faculty of the Fine Arts Building, as well as students in all other majors, we will put to good use and enjoy. I thank you all so much for coming to support the dedication, and I hope you all will enjoy the opening of these doors as much as I plan to. Thank you.
It is now my pleasure to welcome back to Cottey College Dr. Judy Rogers and Dr. Glenn Rogers, our guests of honor for today's celebration. Dr. Judy Rogers served as the 11th president of Cottey College. Under her guidance, the Sarin Best Institute for Women's Leadership, Social Responsibility, and Global Awareness became a reality. She was at the helm when the college began the process of developing and designing a baccalaureate program, when the first 8 programs were created and welcomed students. And it was under her guidance that the college managed the first ever comprehensive campaign, which made this beautiful new building as well as many other projects on campus possible. Judy and Glenn served the community of Nevada, the state, and the nation as ambassadors of this amazing institution. So please welcome back Judy and Glenn.
Welcome, dear friends. It is wonderful to have you here for this historic occasion. I have been retired all of 3.5 months. So I've got it down. I know I've mastered retirement. And I realize that what I want to talk to you about this morning, briefly, are the memories and what I learned in the process of helping to bring the new Fine Arts building into being. It is such an honor to have my name attached to such a grand building. I thought a long time to think of what adjective to use, and grand is the word that came to me. It is a grand building. The history of the Fine Arts building has many memories for me and many educational memories that I'm going to meditate on and think about and keep with me. And there are 3 that I want to touch on this morning. First of all, I experienced an incredible team. I experienced enduring teamwork throughout the course of 5 years, a long time. And you heard Barbara say what a large team that was, just of volunteers. And you add to that all of the additional team members on this campus and in the other ranks that helped with the campaign. I will never forget such a model of collaboration and true teamwork. The Defining Moment campaign and the many, many volunteers steadfastly dedicated their time and their talents to raising the money to make the Fine Arts building possible. Some spent hours on the telephone. It took that, just contacting people. Some, like the campaign chairmans, logged thousands of air miles as she crisscrossed the country. Others just simply went over invitation lists and vetted them and decided who should be invited to learn about our school and our building. And then on and on with all of those other tasks that needed to be done. They demonstrated what devoted, determined women can do together when they are part of a team with a shared vision. Faculty collaborated, as you've heard Theresa say, to decide how the space would be used, exactly how it would be designed. And our staff collaborated with other staff members and with the companies that you heard Mary name to make the building into a reality. Plans have to become a reality. You will recall that the campaign was launched during the recession. And that troubled us, many sleepless nights around that issue. Were we wise to go ahead with the campaign? We laid the groundwork. We'd done a semi-silent phase. Were we wise to move forward at a time when perhaps people were experiencing economic difficulties? You will also remember that the building, the Fine Arts Building, was the only capital project in the campaign, and that the number one priority of the campaign was, in fact, scholarships, which we desperately needed at that time to bring additional students to Cottey. And so we could not minimize the emphasis that we placed on raising dollars for scholarships as we went through the campaign. And yet there was the building, too, that we knew that we needed to address. These were all perhaps obstacles or impediments in our thinking at that time. But I want you to know that there was always optimism, and that was the second lesson I learned, that leaders must always be able to maintain optimism. They always see that vision at the end, and they always know that with collaboration and with the teamwork, that it will come to fruition. Occasionally, I got to teach the leadership class on campus. And so during that period of time when I was working actively with the campaign, I had some wonderful examples of leadership and optimism and collaboration and teamwork that I was able to share with that class because I was actually living it. During the process, I don't think, Barbara, you can corroborate it, I don't think that we ever once felt we wouldn't do it. Never felt that we would not do it. We knew this building would become a reality. Finally, I remember the donors, many of whom I worked with personally. These were the donors who chose to make that building a bricks and mortar reality. There was obvious joy in their giving. Some namespaces for themselves or for their chapters or for friends or members of the family. Others thought about the function of the space and they wanted to support that particular function, and so they named spaces because of the function. But in every case, I witnessed the joy of giving, the joy of philanthropy. And that is something I've taken to myself and will now seek for myself, to be able to experience as I can that great joy. I want to say thank you again to every campaign worker, both staff and volunteer, to every donor here today, to every faculty and staff member who gave, both monetarily and of their time and their knowledge, to every person who made this building in some way a priority, who helped to create this building for present and for future students. Thank you.
Let me provide just a quick footnote on this idea of mastering retirement. Every surface in our kitchen, in our breakfast room, in most of the family room, every surface is covered with to-do lists. My expectation is that we'll have the last of the lists completed just in time to move into the home. I would like to tell you that some years ago, I choose not to specify the year, when Judy and I were beginning faculty members, We shared an office on the third floor of a classroom building with no passenger elevator. There was a key-operated freight elevator used by the custodial staff, but faculty were not issued keys. And then an enterprising student showed us that if you inserted the edge of a dime, this is true, into the opening of the key slot at just the right angle and gave it a sharp twist, you could operate the elevator. And subsequently, we made many trips to the third floor, accompanied by mops, brooms, cartons of paper towels. When we shared this secret with several colleagues on the third floor, they were terribly excited, and they suggested naming this archaic conveyance, and I'm serious about this, the Judy and Glenn Rogers Freight Elevator. Well, that didn't happen. And from then until now, no one suggested naming a physical facility for us. But today, that gap in our professional lives has been filled, and filled magnificently. We are honored. We are indeed astonished to have our names on this extraordinary fine arts building. For us, it is the permanent symbol of the most satisfying and productive period in our long careers, and of all the people we worked with and whom we shall remember with such fondness and gratitude. And finally, this building, so purposefully designed, so thoughtfully constructed, and so aesthetically brilliant, is so not a freight elevator. Thank you very much, P.E.Os, alumni, friends, and members of our wonderful Cottey family. To have our names permanently associated with the arts at Cottey College is an honor we never dreamed of. Thank you.
I'd like to thank all of our speakers. And now the moment, another moment that you have been looking forward to, the opportunity to tour the new building. A few housekeeping issues. After the ribbon cutting, you will be invited to conduct self-tours throughout the building and enjoy refreshments. You'll also be able to see faculty and students in the various facilities, showing you how those facilities will be used. From 11:30 till 1, the Center for Women's Leadership, the Ruby Burton Academic Center, Main Hall, the Blanche Skiff Ross Memorial Library, the Chapel and Hink House Center will all be open. And there are some volleyball tournaments going on at the Hink House Center today. So we encourage you to visit those facilities as well. And there'll be maps available in the Fine Arts Building and in Main Hall. We encourage you to stop by our bookstore to get all of your Cottey gear. And we also encourage you to go view the Defining Moment Campaign Recognition Wall. It's located just south of the library and just north of the softball field. The wall recognizes donors with gifts of over $10,000 and P.E.O. chapters with gifts of more than $5,000. Now, if we sync up our watches, I have about 10:56. We'll start the ribbon cutting promptly at 11:05. So we encourage you to make your way over to the center and gather in front, and we'll all take part in that extraordinary event. But most importantly, I just simply want to say thank you. Thank you for joining us for this celebration. Thank you for joining us for the dedication of the Judy and Glenn Rogers Fine Arts Building. And thank you for being loyal supporters of Cottey College and the arts. We'll see you at the ribbon cutting. Thank you.